The title of this is Inspired by Life. And that's your life. That's my life. Sometimes we are the inspiration for others, and sometimes we are inspired by others. And that's the one thing I want you to take away. If you don't take anything else, take away, you have the potential to inspire. You, every single one of you, have the potential to inspire someone else by the way you live your life. Now, I have to find the little clicker. I'll give you a very quick overview of what we're going to talk about today, because this topic is, like I said, it's a very selfish topic. It's something I need in my life to remember. The first thing we're going to do is to share a little about our lived experience. I have my friend Jane Alexander here with me today, and she's going to get up and share in a few minutes. But you can kind of see a progression of what we're going to talk about. We have lived experience. But after we get to the point that we recognize the situation we find ourselves in, or after we get a diagnosis, our life changes. How many of you think your life changed after you received a diagnosis, or after you recognized that you had a disability of some kind? Right? I had a sexual abuse experience during my childhood, but I thought I could handle it. You know? Yeah, I thought I could handle it. I was a kid, it was done. Throughout adulthood, I decided that was in the past, and I'm not going to let that bother me anymore. I'm going to go on. And if you're willing to hold up your hand, how many of you have ever tried to deny trauma or mental illness, if you feel comfortable sharing? Okay. You know, isn't that the way it is? I denied that. In the years that followed, I went to college, I got married, I had 4 children, and life seemed to be okay. But as you all probably know, there were some secret little things happening over here to let me cope. Some secret parts of life that nobody knew about, that allowed me to kind of cope and wear my little mask and move through life until I turned 40 years old. I have 4 children, 2 of them are daughters. My daughters had reached an age, about the same age I had been when I went through that sexual abusive experience. I hit rock bottom. I had an emotional breakdown from severe depression. I went to a psychiatric hospital for a 10-day outpatient treatment program, and then subsequent therapy. I was in a Christian 12-step group, and it took several years to really get back to understanding who I was. And that's really that normal life where I was hiding. I reached that breaking point, and I did have to find that new normal in life. And as I said before, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to understand what's happening in your life and to do something about it. But you have to be ready. I had to be ready to do that. And I can honestly say that I am in a better place in my life now than I have ever been. That was 15 years ago, by the way. I'm 55. That was 15 years ago that happened. I got work, and I had a career in marketing for 10 years until I found out about the Peer Specialist program. And I knew without a doubt that's where I needed to be. I quit my job, and I went through the certification process to be a peer specialist, and I've never looked back. That's where I am today. And because when you stand up for yourself, other people are going to recognize that. They will be inspired by that in your life. And again, I really think it's kind of a progression, at least for me it is. Especially because I'm a list person, you know, and I kind of like having this list, 1, 2, 3. Being confident to me leads to having courage, which to me leads to being willing to share. Now, one important thing about sharing, you do not have to share all things with all people. It's very important to be discerning about who you share with, to consider if that person is really going to benefit from what you're saying, or if they're not going to respond in a happy way or an encouraging way, maybe you don't want to share with them, to be honest. But you can share with others, like Jan has shared, like I'm sharing a little bit, and I really enjoy hearing about you all too when you have a chance to share. That's how we support each other. So what I'm going to ask you now is to have that confidence and have that courage to share with each other how you have inspired someone. Okay, this is where you have confidence and courage. You, I'm sure, have inspired someone in your life. Okay? If you can't think of a way you have inspired someone, think about someone who has inspired you. And I'm going to give you a chance to talk, and I'm going to kind of wander around here because I want to hear how you are confident enough that you have inspired other people. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to talk. First is how social media, how I use it to find support. How many of you, if you don't, again, you don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to. How many of you are on Facebook or Twitter? Oh my goodness, I guess I'm not surprised. How many of you post encouraging words and quotes for people? Me too. How many of you posted that you were coming to the Real Voices, Real Choices? Okay, I did.
You beat me to it.
You don't have to. I'm not saying that's something you have to do at all. It's what you're comfortable with. But I have found for me personally that social media is a way for me to be an advocate and to share and encourage, not to preach, not to take that big political stance at all, but just to be encouraging and supportive and acknowledge, hey, I'm going to this conference. Maybe somebody will call me that I don't even know needs the kind of support that I'm giving here. I write a blog, I read blogs, I have a video blog that I write. I mean, there are so many ways that you can share with others to encourage them, to inspire them, to be an advocate. But it's very personal, whatever works for you, and some of you may not even care about social media at all, and that's okay. Face-to-face is pretty good too, isn't it?